There are a ton of videos on YouTube showing you machines that supposedly make people a fortune. They'll flash a big income number on the screen, show you the equipment, and tell you that this machine can make $10,000 a month. But here's the problem. They almost never explain how. No customer breakdown, no startup cost, no real profit math, just buy this machine and make money. So today, we're doing it differently. I'm walking you through 9 machines people are actually using to build real businesses. For every single one, we're covering who the customers are, what it costs to get started, what the margins actually look like, and whether I think it's actually worth it. And for one of these, the laser engraver, we're going so deep it'll feel like a real business plan. Exact startup cost, exact cost per product, what people are selling them for, how many you need to sell to break even, and what a realistic monthly profit actually looks like. Because buying a machine doesn't make you money. Building a business around that machine actually does. And if you want the complete list of all these machines and where to find them, just comment "I'm interested" down below and I'll get them to you. So let's get into it. Machine number 1 is a laser engraver. So for this one, I'm not just going to go and tell you a laser engraver can make you money. I'm going to show you how to actually apply it in the real world. We're going to take one specific product, custom leather patch trucker hats, break down the startup cost, break down the cost per product, look at what people are actually selling these for, then we're going to calculate the profit, and I'm going to walk you through how you could turn this into a real business. Now, these are the hats you see all over Etsy, at farmers markets and local boutiques, on company merch tables, at every single event you ever go to. They usually have a leather patch on the front with a business logo, a funny saying, a local design, hunting, fishing design, or a custom name. The product looks premium. It sells for a decent price, and the actual material cost is pretty low. So let's break it down. First, the equipment. You need a laser engraver, something like an X-Tool F2 like I have. You're going to need leatherette or leather patch material. You need blank trucker hats like a Richardson 112. It's one of the most popular blanks for this type of work. And you need a heat press to apply the patch to the hat. Startup costs somewhere between $1,300 and $4,000 depending on which machine you buy and how much inventory you're going to start with. Now, the cost per hat. A blank trucker hat runs about $6 to $9. The leather patch material is about 50 cents to $1.50 per patch. Depending on what you buy, you might also need some adhesives or other supplies, which can cost around 25 cents. Shipping supplies, $1 to $2. And if you're selling on Etsy, you're going to have fees, and that's going to run you about 15% of the sale. So about $4.50 on top of the $30 hat. Total cost per hat, roughly $12 to $17 all in. So if you sell the hat for $30, you're walking away with $13 to $18 in profit per hat. Now, here is where the math starts to matter. 5 hats a day at $15 profit each, that's $75 a day. Do that 30 days a month, and you're at $2,255 a month in profit. 10 hats a day, that's $150 a day, $4,500 a month. And that's just Etsy, and that's just retail, one hat at a time. When you start landing bulk orders from businesses, pressure washing companies, landscaping, gyms, schools, fishing charters, golf tournaments, breweries, baseball teams, bachelor parties, local brands, now you're not selling one hat at a time, you're selling 25, 50, or 100 at a time. That's when this becomes a real business. Etsy, that's just one channel, but I wouldn't rely on just Etsy. You go local. You make sampler hats for businesses in your area. Walk in, show them the actual hat, and then you say, hey, I can make these with your logo on them, or actually make them with their logo on it. That is a much easier way to sell than trying to explain it online, because once someone holds that hat in their hand, sees their logo on a leather patch on a hat, and they realize that they can use it for their employees, their customers, giveaways, on merch, that product sells itself. That's how you turn a machine into a business. Not by hoping the machine makes you money, by using the machine to create a product with real demand, real margins, and real customers. And again, if you want links for any of these machines, including the X-Tool F2, just comment the word "interested" and I'll send it to you. Machine number 2 is a gum removal machine. So what does a gum removal machine actually do? Well, it does exactly what it sounds like. It removes gum from sidewalks, parking garages, from stadiums, schools, auditoriums, anywhere people have been walking around, chewing gum, and throwing it down for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. There are roughly 300 million pieces of gum stuck to various surfaces across the country right now, and every single one is ugly. It's sticky and it's unsanitary, sitting there until somebody with the right machine, maybe you, shows up and takes care of it. Commercial gum removal machines use high-pressure steam, sometimes combined with a cleaning solution, to dissolve it, blast it off, and it comes off without damaging the surface. Now, some are backpack units, so you just load it up in a van in the back of a pickup, drive it to the location, and you start cleaning. The customers here are repeat customers. Sports venues, schools, restaurants, stadiums. Those aren't just one and done jobs. These are high traffic areas that accumulate gum constantly, which means they need regular recurring service. And that is where the real money is. Not the one-time clean, but the contract. These machines can run from a couple $1,000s up to around $7,500 for a real high-end unit. Operators typically charge between $100 to $200 per hour, or around $1 per square foot. And some companies, they can land contracts with large stadiums over $50,000 or more for a single annual agreement. Realistically, monthly revenue from one machine, somewhere between $45,000 to $10,000. And operators with multiple machines and crews, they can scale way beyond that. Machine number 3 is a parking lot line striping machine. Now here's one people completely overlook, and it's one of the most consistent, high margin, easy to start service businesses on the entire list. The United States has over 100 million parking spaces. Every single one needs to be repainted regularly to stay compliant with safety laws and ADA regulations. Faded lines aren't just an eyesore, they're a liability, which means property owners like business owners, schools, churches, municipalities are constantly looking for someone to come in and freshen things up. On the machine side, you've got options at every price point. Entry-level walk-behind stripers start around $1,500 to $3,000, good for getting started and landing smaller jobs. Mid-range units with better speed and control run around $4,000 to $8,000. Professional-grade ride-on or airless systems used by larger operations, they can run between $10,000 to $20,000 and more. You don't need to start at the top. Most guys, they start with a solid mid-range machine, add stencils for arrows and handicap symbols, and then you can start growing from there. The work itself, it's pretty straightforward. You're not doing this during business hours. You're showing up at nights or weekends when lots are empty. Fast work, clean lines, in and out. Once you build trust with a property owner, you're their person every time the lines fade. And you can add curbs, fire lanes, directional arrows, and seal coating for even more revenue on every job. I've got a good friend, Chris Welch, who personally started striping lines on the weekends at night with one machine, landed a few local jobs, and within a year had a six-figure business. He now runs a striping and seal coating operation that generates millions of dollars in annual revenue. And he didn't keep that playbook to himself. He built How to Stripe and How to Seal Coat, 2 training programs that teach you exactly how to start and grow both businesses, cut the learning curve, and build something real from the ground up. There are links to both of those training programs in the description of this video. Machine number 4, laser rust removal. So what exactly does a laser rust removal machine do? Well, it uses a focused beam of light to strip rust, paint, grease, and grime off of metal surfaces, without chemicals, without sandblasting, and without damaging the surface underneath. You point it at the rust, you pull the trigger, and you watch it disappear. It's one of those things that looks like magic when you first see it, and here's the thing. Rust is absolutely everywhere. Classic cars sitting in garages, contractors with tools and equipment that cost thousands of dollars, antique dealers trying to bring cast iron cookware back to life, homeowners with patio furniture they'd rather restore than replace, metal fixtures on local businesses, farm equipment, trailers, you name it, it's out there and it needs to be cleaned up. The market isn't hard to find. The market is literally everywhere that you look. These machines are portable. Some are handheld units about the size of a large toolbox. You load it in your van, in your truck, you drive to the job, and you get to work. No chemicals to haul, no sandblasting setup, just the machine and a power source. On the equipment side, entry-level handheld units start around $5,000 for 100 to 200 watt models. More powerful machines in the 1,000 to 1,500 watt range run from $6,500 to $15,000. You don't need to start with the most powerful unit. Plenty of operators build solid businesses with entry-level machines before upgrading. Pricing, it can be flexible, but still profitable. Most operators charge between $50 to $150 per hour for restoration work, and jobs can run several hours depending on the size and the condition of what you're cleaning. The customers here, they're not hard to close either. Classic car guys, they're ready to spend serious money on their vehicles. A rust removal service fits naturally into what they're already doing. Contractors, they don't want to replace expensive tools when they can have them restored for a fraction of the cost. Antique dealers, they need that cast iron and those old metal pieces cleaned up before they can sell them, and you're the one they're going to call. Number 5 is a vinyl cutter. Here's one that flies under the radar but has an enormous market hiding in plain sight. And this is a vinyl cutter, sometimes called a plotter, and this is a machine that uses a small blade to cut precise shapes out of vinyl. Decals, lettering, logo, vehicle graphics, window signage, wall art, custom stickers. If you've ever seen a logo on a storefront window, lettering on a work truck, or a custom decal on someone's car, there's a good chance it came off of a machine just like this. The startup cost is one of the lowest on the entire list. A quality entry-level cutter like a Cricut or a Silhouette runs between $300 to $500. A professional grade machine like a Graphtec or a Roland, what you've used for like vehicle wraps and large commercial signage, they can go between $2 to $5 grand. You add your vinyl material, a weeding tool, transfer tape, and now you are in business. The market is massive and it is absolutely everywhere. Every small business needs signage. Every contractor needs lettering on their truck. Every youth sports team, they want decals. Every event needs custom banners and graphics. And here's the thing, most of these customers have no idea how easy and affordable it is to get custom vinyl work done. When you show up with samples and a fast turnaround time, you stand out immediately. Vehicle lettering and wraps are your highest ticket items. A basic vehicle lettering job for a contractor or a small business can run between $200 to $500 and more. Partial wraps, they can go higher. Full wraps on commercial vehicles, they can go between $2,000 to $5,000 per vehicle. And fleet accounts mean repeat business every time they add a truck. Custom decals and stickers are your volume play. Low material cost, fast production, and huge demand both online through places like Etsy and at local markets. Now, this is also a business that you can run entirely from a spare bedroom. The machine is quiet, it's clean, it takes up almost no space, and it's one of the most home-friendly businesses on the entire list. Machine 6 is a CNC router. Now, if you've ever seen a beautifully engraved wooden sign outside a business, a custom house number plaque, or an intricate piece of wooden wall art, there is a good chance that a CNC router made it. A CNC router uses a computer-controlled cutting bit to carve, cut, and engrave wood, acrylic, foam, and soft metals with incredible precision. You design it on a computer, you load the material, and you press go. And the machine, it does the rest. Entry-level desktop CNC routers, they start between $500 and $1,500. Good for small signs, engraved gifts, and decorative pieces. Mid-range machines capable of doing larger work, they can run between $3,000 to $8,000 or even more. Professional production level machines go higher, but you don't need that to start. The product opportunities are wide. Custom wooden signs for businesses and homes are always in demand. Engraved cutting boards and serving boards are consistently bestsellers on Etsy. Wedding and event signage commands premium pricing. Furniture parts, decorative panels, and architectural details serves contractors and interior designers. And then of course you got personalized gifts, name signs, family plaques, custom frames sell year-round with spikes around every major holiday. The margins, they are strong because the raw material, wood, really inexpensive. A piece of lumber costs about $10, becomes a custom sign that sells for $80. A $5 cutting board blank becomes a $60 personalized wedding gift. Now, where this gets really interesting is business to business. Local businesses like restaurants, breweries, real estate agents, and contractors, they all want custom wooden signage and branded pieces. One commercial client who needs signage for multiple locations can be worth thousands of dollars in a single order. Now, the learning curve is real. You need to get comfortable with the design software and the machine settings, but once you're dialed in, production is largely hands off. Load the material, run the job, finish and sand, ship or deliver. Machine number 7 is a pressure washer. Now, I'm going to talk about this one a little differently than the others because I lived it. I owned a pressure washing business for over 2 decades, and I know firsthand what this business can produce if you dedicate yourself to it and you don't treat it like a side hustle. I built a strong 6-figure business. Several years I was knocking on the door of 7 figures. And there are companies in bigger markets and bigger cities that have crossed that threshold. This is a real business with real income potential, but only if you approach it like one. The equipment side, it is very straightforward. A quality commercial pressure washer runs between $1,500 to $5,000. You add a surface cleaner, downstream injector, hoses, and a trailer or a truck setup, and you're looking at a $5,000 to a $15,000 for a professional rig. You can start smaller than that too, and you can grow into whatever you want to make it. The market is absolutely everywhere. Residential driveways, roofs, house washing, and then of course commercial. You've got parking lots, storefronts, and then fleet vehicles. Restaurants with grease-covered dumpster pads, property management companies with dozens of locations, they all need regular service. Once you land commercial accounts, you're not chasing one-time jobs, you're building recurring revenue. The margins are excellent, low material cost, high hourly rate, and the ability to run multiple crews as you grow. The operators making real money in this business, they aren't out there with a wand washing one driveway. They're running systems, they're managing crews, and they're landing commercial contracts that pay month after month. I put everything I know into a training program called How to Wash. This is the most in-depth training available for starting and growing a pressure washing and soft washing business, covering both residential and commercial. Now, if this is a business you want to build, the link for that is in the description down below. You cut the learning curve and build it the right way from day one. Machine 8 is a key cutting machine. Now, here's one that's relatively simple, steady, and seriously underestimated. Key cutting. Because every home has keys, every business has keys, every landlord, property manager, and real estate agent constantly needs copies made. It's one of those services that never goes away because people always need spare keys and they will always lose them. Professional key duplicators run between $500 to $3,000 depending on the capability of the machines. Higher-end units handle automotive keys, transponder keys, and specialty keys beyond standard house and padlock keys. Add your key blank inventory and you're ready to go. The math per transaction, it's really simple. Each key copy costs pennies to produce and sells between $3 to $8 for standard keys. Automotive and specialty keys, they can go higher. The volume is what makes this work. Your best customers, they're not random walk-ins, they're accounts. Property management companies are pure gold. When a tenant moves out, a landlord needs multiple copies for new renters, maintenance staff, and emergency access. Real estate agents need keys for listings and lockboxes. Small businesses need copies for employees. And once you're the go-to guy for an account like that, it's recurring revenue with almost no sales effort. The mobile angle is what separates smart operators from everybody else. Instead of waiting for customers to come to you, you go to them. Property managers, apartment complexes, real estate offices offer pickup and delivery, and you immediately stand out from every big box store they've been using. Low startup costs, low overhead, steady demand, and a clear path to recurring account-based revenue. It is not glamorous, but it works. Machine 9 is a heat press. If there's one machine on this list with the lowest barrier to entry and the fastest path to a first sale, it is the heat press. A heat press applies heat and pressure to transfer designs onto apparel and accessories. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, tote bags, phone cases, mugs, and pretty much anything else you can think about. Combined with a printer and heat transfer vinyl or sublimation paper, you can produce custom branded products from a folding table in your spare bedroom. Entry-level heat presses start around $200 to $400. A quality mid-range press runs $500 to $1,500. And a sublimation printer or a vinyl cutter, and you have a complete production setup for under $2,000. The print-on-demand model is what makes this attractive for beginners. You don't need to carry inventory. You take the order, you print the design, you press the transfer, and you ship it. One piece at a time if needed. That means almost zero financial risk while you're getting started in building your customer base. The market, it's enormous. Custom t-shirts for local events, family reunions, sports teams, bachelorette parties, school groups, and small businesses. Personalized gifts that sell year-round on Etsy. Holiday and seasonal designs that spike predictably every single year. Margins, they are solid. A blank t-shirt that costs $4 becomes a custom printed shirt that you can sell for $20 to $30 all day long. A plain mug that costs you $2 becomes a personalized gift that you can sell for $15 to $20. And where operators make real money is in bulk orders. One local business that needs 50 branded shirts for their team is more valuable than 50 individual Etsy sales and a lot less work to fulfill. Build a few of those accounts and the heat press pays for itself fast. So there you have it, 9 machines, 9 real business opportunities, and for one of them, the laser engraver, you now have the exact numbers to know whether it makes sense for you or not. Now, here's the thing I want you to take away from this video. None of these businesses are get rich quick. Every single one of them requires real work, real customers, and a real plan. But all of them, they are all legitimate paths to serious income for someone that is willing to put in the effort, treat it like a business from day one. And if you want more information on any of these machines, where to buy them, which models people are using, and additional resources for getting started, drop the word interested in the comments below and I'll send you everything that you need. And if this video gave you value, hit the subscribe button. We put out content all the time for people that are looking to build businesses. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it.